And we are a go. Welcome to the game. We are going live into a game between Neolution Esports and P9K, I believe. That should be the name of the team. We have Neolution Esports on the Legion side this time once again, and the on the away team, pretty much. P9K will be on that Hellbourne side. Oh, first few bands coming out, we will have Revenant and Fate, both very aggressive gankers early on. Invis mechanics, always fun to play around with, always harder to deal with in the early game stages, forcing a lot of commitment from supports onto Dust and Blue Wards to spot them out before they get a chance to properly gank. So those will be banned out. We will see Magmas and Clanks being banned out as well here. Interesting set of bans. Magmas, one of those gankers as well, very aggressive ganker. Lava Surge obviously being a great gank mechanism, but also a great counter initiation tool. And Clanks just being the super, pretty much super carry meta, super carry off the meta, excuse me, for our current few patches. And yeah, gonna be banned out by that Hellbourne side. Looking like they want to go for some less conventional carries to try to deal with Neolution's lineup. Bombardier and Pebbles going to be the first two pickups from the side of Neolution Esports here. A lot of magic damage coming out from the both of them. Pebbles combo will be a great tool here. Could combo two people together into a single stun, possibly even three or more. And gonna be a great setup for that Bombardier to combo off all his AoE spells and deal so much damage in team fights. And Bubbles as the first pick from the side of P9K, gonna be a great counter initiation hero. Kelp Field gonna be extremely strong, especially when you combo it out with Pearl. If Bubbles manages to get that Kelp Field off on, say, three or more heroes, Pearls ultimate that preservation bubble, if I'm not wrong, it's just called preservation, but yeah, pretty much that bubble is gonna be able to knock all those heroes out of that kelp field and force them to be stunned. Gonna be super strong as well, considering that Bubbles now has now super strong as a hero in general, thanks to that thanks to the Staff of the Master application against BKBs. And Wild Soul gonna be possibly the the jungle pickup for the side of Neolution Esports. Probably most likely going to be played by Zlapped here. Interesting pickup, really strong carry as Zlapped has shown. In pops here and there, he's used also to just like stomp down on enemy lineups by getting levels and items so early on and so quickly. Still, BKB is gonna be a core item on this Wild Soul, so interesting to see how fast they can ramp up this team fights and all these items to deal with that Bubbles before he gets that Stuff for the Master on his kelp field. And Deadwood gonna be the next pickup here for the side of P9K. Great initiation hero as well as counter initiation hero. The Willowmaker we've seen being put to full use in a bunch of these competitive games, especially the previous one versus can't remember what that team was, but that Deadwood blowing people up across the map and was the bane of that Bombardier in that one match. So interesting to see how effective really this Deadwood is gonna be in these laning stages to deal with those core heroes like Bombardier, like Pebbles. Especially he's an especially great counter against Pebbles, considering that his Willowmaker will be able to steal the strength of that Pebbles, who is by nature a strength hero. Andromeda gonna be the support pickup here for the Neolution lineup. Great counter initiation hero. The swap out will definitely be used here to save the core heroes. So far seems like we have 3 cores on the side of Neolution Esports already. A fairly greedy lineup here. Andromeda, a pretty good matchup, considering that Andromeda by nature is a hero that is pretty much only level dependent, and even then not that level dependent at all. Her Comet skills fairly okay, lots and lots of damage with a bonus of 75 magic damage per level. That's one of the biggest spikes for a hero in terms of a skill, but not gonna be necessary in terms of stun duration. A flat 1.75 second stun at all levels, gonna make her a great ganker and counter initiator early on. And of course that Aurora, a great combo as well with heroes like Wild Soul and Pebbles, who deal so much damage with their right clicks. Pebbles more so early on, does transition well as well, but Wild Soul gonna be an absolute beast in those later stages. And actually, we are gonna see a Belphegor pickup here for the side of Neolution Esports. Interesting pickup here. Seems like it will be a suicide lane Belphegor for Zlapped as well. Seems like Wild Soul will be taken by Wolfheim here, as the position 1 carry here. Position 1 carry Wild Soul instead of a jungle Wild Soul as we predicted from Zlapped. Belphegor, of course, being one of Zlapped's signature heroes as well. He is very good with that little gingerbread man micro there. Gonna focus our sights on that suicide lane from time to time to see if he will be able to deal with that pretty well, I guess. And the last two pickups for the side of P9K will be Vindicator and that core Dark Lady here. P9K looking as if they, in terms of cores, we can only really say it's maybe a Dark Lady and or a Deadwood and Bubbles. So not too sure about that Vindicator. Probably a support Vindicator here. Haven't really seen too many core Vindicators in the higher level competitive games. So it'll be interesting to see how they plan this game out for the side of P9K, as opposed to the more standard set of cores for Neolution Esports. But P9K here, they, in terms of early fighting potential, I'm gonna have to give it to Neolution Esports. P9K have good counter initiation and saves, but they don't have nearly as much aggression potential as that Legion side right now. And in terms of towards the later stages of the game, although they do have Dark Lady, who's been regarded as one of the hardest carries in Han in just for the longest period of time, we still do have Wild Soul, who comes in as a close competitor to this Dark Lady. Great carry potential coming out from him. He's a hero who has the potential to be 12 slotted, in fact, thanks to his little boo-boo companion over there. So interesting to see how this will play out in the late game stages. Actually, really we see that late game favoring more of the side of Neolution Esports, because we have that Pebbles who can transition into a really strong core in those late game stages. Of course, that's not to say that P9K is lacking too much in the late game carry department. We still have a Vindicator who can feed off massive amounts of stolen intel towards that later game stage to buff his attack damage. Gonna be a great carrier of the Harken's Blade, for example, to counter the high armor that agility heroes like Wild Soul will have towards that later game stage. So interesting to see how this one will play out. But as far as the draft in general is concerned, it seems like it would favor the side of Neolution Esports. As far as lanes are concerned, it could still be a jungle. So Belphegor is most likely to go into the off lane, if not just as a suicide hero in that heart lane. Belphegor in the heart lane, probably a middle Bombardier or Pebbles. We've seen middle Pebbles quite a few times, twice in fact in the past two games, coming out from 5, 6, 7, 8 here, who is once again on that Pebbles. If he does so, it seems like no, there'll be barely any space for a jungle at all. Could be a tri-lane bottom, could be a Wild Soul jungle in the end, but lots of kill potential nonetheless. Huge damage come out very early on in the first few levels, in fact, for Bombardier, for Andromeda, and for Pebbles. That's not to count out that Belphegor, who has quite a bit of damage on just that Regurgitate actually, and it does slow enemies as well, so it's going to be very useful for an early kill. And while we're waiting, let's do the player callouts. We, on the Legion side, playing for Neolution Esports, we have Lord Makeo on that Bombardier, Sakurada on that support Andromeda, 5678 on his trademark Pebbles, Wolfheim on the Wild Soul carry, and Zlapped on his Belphegor. On the Hellbourne side, playing for P9K, we have 10 dings on that Deadwood, on Itsuka on the Vindicator, MZ4 on that Pearl, 7 dings on Bubbles, and 9 dings on that carry Dark Lady. And game starts out with an immediate TP from Andromeda and Pro as well onto the top lane. Pro will place a little ward of sight on that lane to more of a deep lane ward to protect against any potential aggression coming out from tower TPs, and Andromeda will place a ward more towards that jungle river area to spot out any ganks from the jungle or from the mid lane. Bubbles goes in for a ward of sight towards the jungle to spot out the movements of that Wild Soul here. Does not choose to block any of the camps, but a fair move here. Gonna be a Belphegor safe lane actually with a Bombardier off lane, huh? Interesting setup here. They're expecting Bombardier to be able to hold his own on that suicide lane thanks to all his long range spells, and honestly, I think that's a fairly good decision here. Belphegor is going to have a pretty tough time on his own here with simply just those, with that Corpse Conversion and the little Gingerbread Min. So, fairly good choice here. Bubbles on that bottom lane does not choose to go for any shenanigans with shell surfing into that tree line to try to sap experience as the suicide hero. Instead, just plays it as normally as one can expect. So, interesting to see how this will play out here. In that last game, one of the Bubbles on the opposing side did try those cheeky shenanigans in the tree line, but did not work out, was spotted out immediately. And seems like Zlapped did toss his Logger's Hatchet onto one of the trees to try to spot him out, but will not find anyone there. Middle lane, for the Hellbourne side, it's gonna be a Deadwood with a Pocket Vindicator here to help him out. Vindicator will be a fairly annoying presence for that Pebbles to try and box him out of the lane, but doesn't seem like he will be able to do that much. Does have a Stout Shield on him, so should be fine. Bubbles does sit within that tree line, but will be found out by the Andromeda, who will try to harass him and box him out. Pro goes deep into that top lane. Bombardier actually gets the pull off on that creep wave, pulls it right behind that tier 1 tower in between both the tier 1s and 2s. So interesting little pull there. Actually manages to get it off here, but Dark Lady in exchange does pull that creep wave onto the hard camp to get them destroyed here, so that the lanes don't get too out of bounds for her. Bubbles forced to shell surf out early from the aggression from Andromeda, but will be fine otherwise. And yeah, some interesting moves coming out from the heroes, especially on the top lane here. Good response from the Dark Lady to not fight that creep wave underneath the tower and lose a lot of either the tower's health or her own health, and allows her to secure those creeps easier. So pretty smart from her here. Bombardier does toss out the bomb to try to dink down that creep wave and harass the Dark Lady. Will get harassed out by Pro himself in exchange just a little bit, but will be able to fight toe to toe with her. And she does spot him going towards that middle lane, maybe trying to secure that early rune here, but will get denied by Vindicator here. Actually, will get contested. Vindicator does run towards that jungle area, gets a stack off instead, does not want to contest for that rune, probably for the best. Bombardier does have a haste rune, is running towards that middle lane rapidly, should get a bomb down on that Deadwood, but does not. Doesn't have the kill potential for it just yet, but while we say that Andromeda is rotating towards middle, does have that level 1 combat on her. It's a lot of damage for a level 1 skill, 100 magic damage coming out right from her, right from the start. And a whole bunch of heroes sitting near that middle lane. Tensions are high. Who's gonna make the first move here? Pebbles does not quite have the range for anything just yet. They could go for the Rotten Grass, but Vindicator does not nearly have enough damage for him, only has a level 1 disarm on him and nothing else. And Pro goes towards that middle lane, does actually get a ward here on that high ground to spot out the entirety of that middle tier 1 tower area. But all the heroes pretty much disengage here, no real kill potential to be found. Bombardier wastes a bit of time near that middle lane, but is still on level 3 as a solo suicide bombardier, not doing too badly for himself. And does secure the rune and help out his middle lane, basically protecting him from that potential gank with that haste rune. So pretty smart rotation there coming out from Lord Mikhail on that top lane. And Bubbles will pot out here. Seems to have been harassed a lot by those gingerbread men down from Zlapped. Andromeda will get the pull off here. There was no anti-pull cam ward at all to block it out, so we'll be fine for now. And on Wolfheim, actually, interesting item choice here. Goes for a straight boost. I was about to say that he didn't go for that Gloves of Haste that we always see on a Wild Soul, but is inside the inventory of that Boo Boo Bear. So we'll be fine after all. Bombardier level 4 chasing down a level 2 Pearl with the slow. Will get the Q bomb off on her. Deals so much damage, she's less than half health. We'll chase her now with the right clicks. Pearl drops the slow on the Bombardier. The rain of bombs. One more right click should do it. And she is right out of range here, hiding within that fog of war. Bombardier will not be able to find him, gets denied by the neutral creeps. Should be a kill for the Deadwood as well in the end, and it will be. And nice Rotten Grass from the Deadwood. Nice reaction here to move towards that jungle and help out his pro. And a nice deny from the pro as well onto that double stacked hard camp. Middle lane, Vindicator sits on the lane in the absence of that Deadwood to try to sap some extra experience as much as he can, really. Sitting only on 2 levels right now. And bottom lane, Belphegor. Zlapped actually gets the solo kill on that Bubbles here. We've seen those little gingerbread men dealing so much damage, and I guess they just took him down way too low. So manages to chase him down with that Regurgitate, and an easy kill comes out for Zlapped here. Bottom lane, Bubbles will TP back in, but against the Andromeda and the Belphegor, immense pressure he's facing, can't do a thing against those two. And they will continue to aggressively push down that lane. Andromeda did use her Aurora here, but Deadwood Rotten Grass barely misses Belphegor. And might go in for it. Still has his ultimate, this Deadwood does. And will get blocked out by the minions here. Will be used to body block him out with the right clicks of Zlapped. Drops the Willowmaker off on that Belphegor, but will get caught out on the back end by that Bombardier. And a little bomb drops on his head and takes him right out. Last right click from Zlapped will secure the kill. And another kill coming out for that Belphegor here. And it seems like they'll be able to transition into an easy bottom lane tower push. Creep wave is in their favor. Does push up to the tower right about then. Nothing that Bubbles can do really right now. And we didn't mention this, but Dark Lady did take a tower on that top lane to even things out just a little bit here, but gold advantage already on that Legion side at 1300 gold advantage and 3700 experience advantage. And no tower to be taken just yet, but soon to fall. Pebbles on the middle lane running away from that TP from the Deadwood. Has to play a little bit safe here, but Dark Lady on the back end of all that chaos is farming away. Already has her life Q on her, gonna transition into that cleaver extremely quickly. The same goes for Wild Soul. Does buy out his mana tube there, so fairly close. Both of them, not fairly close, but transitioning towards their cleavers smoothly. And bottom lane, they take the tier 1 tower and they're going for the tier 2 as well. Bombardier here using his sticky bomb to lower the health of that creep wave. Might allow for a rapid tier 2 tower push, but Deadwood rotates right in, gets the kill off on that Bombardier. Nice Rotten Grass to catch her out. Andromeda gets slowed up by the pro and the Deadwood lock toss as well. Deadwood gets caught up. Beautiful ulti from Belphegor on 4 heroes, dropping all of them so low. Both Dark Lady and Deadwood will fall. And Pearl and Bubbles on the run here. No health to speak of at all. And Vindicator nearly gets caught up by the Comet, but gets the TP out just in time. Bubbles on solo health, getting chased down by those minions. The right clicks from them might even be enough, but the disarm coming out from Vindicator and the slow SL will save him. And escaping on a sliver of health right there. Belphegor having such insane early game power with those little corpses there, the little gingerbread men. And yeah, of course he does go for that level 4 immediate level 4 gingerbread man there. Legion side looks like they want to turn on the aggression on this bottom lane. Hasted Pebbles wraps around that little up cliff area here. Might just catch out that Bubbles behind the tower if he isn't careful. Will run in for him right here. Does spot out that Pebbles here. Gets the toss right in immediately. No chance to take cover at all. Tosses him in the air. Belphegor gets the silence and is an easy kill. Very safe combo play here. Does not attempt the stun at all. Very smart play. And it will get the nice ulti off on Bombardier as well. Destroys him immediately here. Just takes him right out with no chance of escape as well. So a nice little counter kill coming out from Hellborn, but it's not gonna be much compared to what Legion's got. They got a free kill on that Bubbles as well as a tier 2 tower that is gonna go the way of that 5, 6, 7, 8 Pebbles here. Sitting on... Oh, he's already got his portal key. Doesn't have to care at all. Takes an easy tower, takes an easy kill with the help of that Belphegor, and already has his portal keys. Gets a smoke. Probably gonna smoke up towards that middle or top lane. Maybe try to get a pick on that Dark Lady who's been free farming away all game. But Wolfheim, interesting build actually. Goes for a straight mana tube into a broadsword here. And little silence dropped on that middle lane, but will lose that Deadwood in the end. Too much aggression. But as we were talking about here with Wolfheim's build, interesting build here. Goes for the mana tube so that he can get more of that the stomps off from the bear and himself onto the creep wave to accelerate his farm. Does not bother with the full sustainer just yet. Goes for that straight broadsword as well to get extra damage off, and a very smart build here in terms of maximizing his farm.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And a tier 1 tower to fall here middle lane as well as Pebbles jumps towards that bottom lane and gets another easy pick off on that Bubbles. Bubbles sitting on a measly 625 health will fall, and Vindicator here gonna get caught on the middle lane as well. One more right click from Zlapped will be able to take it out. That Rotten Crest on him plus the tier 2 tower right clicks doing nothing at all. Zlapped barely a tickle on him with the armor coming out from Plated Grooves as well as that Helm of the Black Legion. So tanky right now. The Bombardier will spot out that Deadwood. Nice little stun from Pebbles. The Max will catch him out, tosses him up in the air, and one more right click will take him down. Another TP in on that middle lane, tries to defend that tier 2 tower, but Hellborn side, they are so far behind in terms of levels. Belphegor monstrous over here, level 10 already. Running down that middle lane, and a toss back from the Pebbles. Beautiful toss on that Pearl will get her as well. Seems like she was right on the edge of that toss radius, but he does get her in the end. And once again, an easy pick off on the back, of and a tower kill as well. Wasn't a necessary commitment from the Pearl. All the other heroes were backing off, so a little bit awkward from there. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication. Her movement was still a little bit out of place, so it does get caught out. Deadwood here gonna get spotted by Boo Boo. Boo Boo will scout him out. Bebbles TP's ports in with that stun. Little Belphegor with the regurgitation will finish him off easily. Actually, Andromeda does secure that kill. Dark Lady gets an instant TP out, a toss in, gets the swap in, and will deny that TP. And the ulti committed from Belphegor, unnecessary, but kills her off before she can get her charging strikes off.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn
and Wolfheim will secure that tower as well here. Does already have his full rune cleaver. There are a little bit of BM here on that top lane, top tower. Not gonna care too much. 5, 6, 7, 8 rotates to that bottom lane, gets an immediate pick on the Bubbles as well. So lightning fast, we missed it again. Doesn't even have to care. The rest of his team have such insane push power just with both that Wild Soul and that Belphegor here. Andromeda, great aura to help out as well. This is a pretty dangerous push lineup that we never even really noticed here. So yeah, they're already banging on the door of their base, knocking down that tier 3 defense tower, already on half health, going down rapidly right now. And Hellborn, they have to try to defend this here. They can't lose a Rex just 12 minutes, maybe about 13 minutes into the game. If they do, it's gonna be GG. And it seems it just might be the case. Little disarm coming out on that Boo Boo, but not gonna be doing much here. The slam onto that tower doing so much damage. Kelpfield onto 2. Rolling Grass catches that Belphegor, but no real effect here. Barely stopping the speed of that push. Bubble Shell Surf does not port in for the life of him. Knows he will die. And Boo Boo just banging down on that tower. Wild Soul so tanky with nothing but Steam Boots on strength. There's barely anything Hellbonside can do here. Drops off a silence. Willowmaker will go off on that Belphegor, but a swap out and an ultimate will destroy that Deadwood. Boo Boo going aggressive on those heroes. Might get killed by that Dark Lady, but actually on a sliver of health, still alive, but gets tossed back in by that Pebbles. That Deadwood will fall. The Belphegor still so tanky. After eating so many spells, doesn't care at all to back off. But Legion side, they take an early Rex on that top lane, and this is gonna be massive for that Dark Lady here. It was already hard enough for her to farm. Already still doesn't have that cleaver compared to the Wild, so 5, 6, 7, 8 does go aggressive on her, but will not get the kill. Misses the Stalagmites. Bombardier. Bombardier will try. Lord Mikhail being really aggressive here, but does get purged off by the Pearl. And middle lane, all of Legion's side, they're going on middle lane right now. They don't care. They want to end this game as soon as possible. Seems like it's gonna be a 15cc game at this rate. Pearl gets taken down, tossed back by the Pebbles once again. Pebbles going in so aggressively, but can completely afford that aggression. The team is right behind him. Does have a tablet of command to save himself and build himself out anytime he wants here. And middle lane, melee barracks already on half health, will fall soon, inevitably so. Legion Vindicator gets tossed back by the Pebbles as well. Kelpfield onto 2, but not even gonna matter. Legion side continue their rampage here down on that middle lane, and now they focus their sights on bottom. They don't have to care. Securing mega creeps. Only 15 minutes into the game almost. Pebbles once again going towards that bottom side, gets the kill on that Dark Lady, who does not have a cleaver. Cannot face mega creeps here. Doesn't have a cleaver, is only level 10. And on top of that, has to deal with the limited farm that mega creeps give compared to normal creeps at least. So gonna be in such a bad position right now. I don't know how they're gonna come back from this game. 31k gold lead here for the side of Neolution Esports, and a tossback on the Vindicator as well will ensure his death. Ulti committed from the Belphegor. Not necessary, but will take her down. Might as well with the rate this game is going at. And a Conceiver will come out from Hellborn side. They know they can't defend. Mega Creeps are have already pushed in from the top lane. A ulti coming out from Bombardier on that combo out by Pebbles. Belphegor goes in as well. 4 heroes from this Hellborn side will fall. And the tier 4 towers as well. 16 minutes in. The Pebbles Grease Wolfheim does toss him into that fountain here. Concede not even necessary. 16-minute in, a total stomp here coming out for Neolution Esports against P9K, and that lineup, just so much aggression early on that I was talking about. They just couldn't deal with it, even with the bubbles, even with the Pearl. All those counter initiation tools, they're worth nothing against something like a Portal Key Pebbles that jumps in so aggressively to get these easy pickoffs, and the solo pickoffs as well on those lanes when they're trying to split push out when the rest of Legion is knocking on the door of their base. They don't care, and the lineup was just strong enough for them to completely crush P9K. So GG well played coming out for Neolution Esports.